Hickey! Matthew Wax with an easy slam. Peterson for the lead. Yes, we are careering towards the NBL postseason, and tonight will help shape that top six. It's a Friday doubleheader starting in Wollongong, Perth later on. But here, it's the Hawks against the Kings for the fourth time this season. Is it a Sydney sweep, or do the Hawks hit back to damage the Sydney Siders' championship claims, their regular season championship claims, their top two ambitions? That's the Mitsubishi Motors ladder, and it is tight at the top all the way down to the Hawks. They are a mathematical chance of the top six, but you need a pretty good calculator because they need to win their last three games by 30 points plus in each of them, and that seems a big ask indeed. Let's unpack this rivalry. It is a great rivalry in terms of Sydney against Illawarra. Last year it was the Hawks winning all four. Tonight the Kings hope to make it 4 from 4. Matt Russell alongside Jason Cadee and Brad Rosen. Been a big week for that man, Brian Goorjian, but his team, Jace, is absolutely humming.
No, they really are, and they're playing a great brand of basketball, and we spoke about it earlier in the year when they got on the roll, and they're playing a Brian Goorjian style of basketball. When we've seen Goorjian's teams flying, this is exactly what it looks like, and history says when they play that way, good things happen.
Yeah, he'll be nervous tonight. This team, obviously, Illawarra, they're going to lift a leg tonight, and they're going to lift it very hard to be able to try and get the win without JaVale McGee, which is not going to be easy, but then it's going to be other guys on the bench that are going to come and try and disrupt the Sydney Kings.
This man, not below 20 points for his last 7 games. What do you like about his back of season form most, Jace?
Everything KD does at the moment is exceptional. He's playing a really great brand of basketball. And I think the greatest thing for him is the group around him has just figured out how to let him flourish, and we'll play off the back of that. And there's no surprise that's been a turn in their form as they figured out as a group, and now they're rolling into finals.
The thing I'm loving about him at the moment, and what I love, is he is controlling the winning. Yes, he can put the ball in the hole, but in some games it's 14 assists. In other games it's 30 and 9 assists. He just controls the way this team is playing.
Before these teams met on Christmas Day, that man, Xavier Cook, said, we want to sweep Illawarra. At that stage, they led 1-0. Now they lead 3-0, their fourth meeting tonight. He averages nearly 10 rebounds against the Hawks, his most of any opponent. Why does he save some of his best form for the Hawks, Brad?
Well, he knows his dad played here, and he can think of nothing else better than going home and saying, hey, Pop, this is what I give you. No, look, he loves it. He's a crowd favourite. He wants to win. That's the #1 thing. And just coming down here, family and friends will be here. He certainly lifts.
He's a former league MVP. He's averaging 13.5 points per game, 6.5 boards, 3 assists. There is the Mitsubishi Motors 3-point leaders scoreboard, led by Bryce Cotton, Nathan Sobey. Tyler Harvey is sitting there, having dropped 6 made threes against Adelaide into 5 made threes against New Zealand. So Jason Cadee, you 3-point specialist, over or under 5.5 made threes for Tyler tonight?
I'm going to say under, because I think this Sydney defense will absolutely smother him, and they won't give him an inch of breath tonight, and he's got to have different people guarding him the whole night. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts off with Delhi.
8 or 9 threes. He's having, you know why? Because he is Aussie Tyler Harvey right now. I think they're just going to come out, and they need him to put the ball in the hole. It's as simple as that. I think he'll be aggressive. He loves nothing better than playing against Brian Goorjian, who brought him to Australia.
Well, they'll need him to be good because there is a big absence for Illawarra, isn't there, Joe? And I say that quite literally.
Yeah, exactly right, guys. JaVale McGee won't be suiting up tonight. He's got knee soreness, so he's out. Unfortunately for the home fans, who would have loved to see him on their home court one last time. I am told that he will feature in their next 2 games, so watch out, Melbourne United. He'll be down there on Sunday, ready to suit up for that one. And just another note, guys, Dan Greeter is playing his 150th NBL game tonight. He is such a loved member of this team and this community. Brad Rosen, I think it was you that interviewed him when he played 100 games, and he was so emotional because he's faced so much adversity over the course of his career. But you can see there the impact that he's had on this Illawarra community. It's so great, and I think he's up for a big one tonight, guys.
Certainly my favourite player, just everything he brings. I saw him before, and I just said congratulations, the smile on his face. I can't believe I got here, even though it took him 30 years in his mind to get there. You just look at him, He'll start tonight, which is brilliant. Watch it out for him, crashing the glass, running the floor, diving on the ball. He is everything Illawarra is about.
I've been keeping a tally over the year, Brad Rosen. You've had 30 favourite Hawks since I've known you. And there's the latest, Dan Greeter, starting for the first time this season tonight. The man who raises the 150th milestone. Now, that might not see a big number to many, but for a man who's endured the wretched injury run that Dan has, it's a real triumph. Thumbs up from that man, Xavier Cooks. It could be very much for Dan Greeter. There is Sydney's lineup. Galloway, Maliwatch, Davis, Cooks, Suarez. They are handling the absence of their defensive pit bull, Qual. And they're on this 8-game winning streak, trying to bring it to Wollongong and leave with 9 in a row. Their coach, Brian Gorgian, pre-game said complacency does become an issue. The veteran coach says that is his biggest issue as the mentor, to make sure that they are driven and ready to go against their arch rivals, who are at home for the final time tonight. They're unshackled now that their finals push is done. They want to A, beat their arch rivals, but B, celebrate this season in front of their home crowd for a final time. Michael Aylen is the lead referee, and your Friday double-header of hoops is going the gong. And fittingly, it falls for the milestone man, Dan Greeter, for the hot hand of Tyler Harvey. 5 made threes last game, 6 prior to that against Adelaide. And the first shot is a miss for Illawarra. Now Galloway quickly in transition. It's 3-0 in the blink of an eye, Sydney. Now Greeter working baseline, coming away empty. And Suarez, the Brazilian, standing tall for the rebound. Galloway again, this time off the glass. He's raced to 5 points. Jalen Galloway.
Yeah, this is Sydney Kings basketball. Not bad offense from Illawarra, but as soon as you miss, the Kings are just off to the races. You can see them. The pace is already extremely fast from them.
He's had a season of career highs, Galloway. Harvey lets loose with his first 3 ball and fills it up.
And that was needed, because this is a game Illawarra have to stay in touch / get control. If they lose control of this game, I just don't think they're disciplined enough in where they're at as a group compared to a Sydney lineup.
3-0 head-to-head this season in favour of the Kings. Xavier Cooks, a big part of that. There's an early flex for the crowd in the gong. Here in Wollongong overall, Sydney lead 26-21. Well, that's actually at this venue, as Swakala Bullock has his pocket picked and Kendrick Davis takes it out to 9-3.
Well, you just said it, Jace. You've got to be careful here. First 6 minutes, we've said it every time we've commentated for Illawarra. It is a key, and what that key is, no turnovers. You cannot give the Sydney Kings free baskets like that one.
Sydney leading head-to-head this season at the Sandpit, 26-21, and overall 68-55. So Big Brother living up to the tag. How big can that man be tonight? Sam Froling.
He's going to have to be, obviously, with no JaVale, and Sam's come back off his injury. He's only improved as the season's gone on. Arguably, he probably started too good for someone coming off an Achilles, but it's going to be nice for him to get some minutes tonight. He's going to have to play a lot for them to get a win.
Watch Maliwatch, super impressive standing up for Bull Koalas. Galloway's hot start to the game continues. He hasn't missed.
Well, he doesn't in front of Jason Kadee. It's every time Jason's commentating, this guy goes off. You're going to have to be at every game for him now, man.
Gordon might start requesting it.
Mason Peatling set for an important role tonight in the absence of JaVale McGee. If you've joined us late, he's out with knee soreness. Nearly 1,000 NBL games will do that. And there's Kendrick Davis, 15-5 early tangerine timeout called by Justin Tatum. What a hot start by the team sitting second, but with ambitions on the regular season championship.
Well, it is. It hasn't been an awful start from Illawarra. It's just been a cracking start from the Sydney Kings, from stops to go. And this man here, is he the MVP of the league? Who knows? But he knocks the 3 down. Just the composure is amazing for him.
Jace, the Kings have started 6 from 6 from the field, including 3 from range, 100% shooting through 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
No, it's quite the start, and we spoke about before, Gorge would have been nervous because this is a danger game. You're playing a team with almost nothing to lose at home in a game that means a little bit more when you're playing Sydney versus Illawarra. So for Sydney to come out and get off to this start, Gorgie be sitting there pumped with his group, but also saying, hey, settle in, let's keep going, keep pushing, keep taking the right shots.
Well, the key is the defense. You know, they've given up 5 points in a couple of minutes, but it's the way they're playing. Tyler Harvey hits a nice 3, but Sam Froling shoots a floater over 2 hands. That's what Gorge is going to be concentrating on. For Illawarra, they need chaos. That's the word for them tonight. Make this chaotic. Do whatever you can to make the Sydney Kings get out of what's been so good for them over the last few weeks. Right now, they're doing what Sydney Kings have been doing to everyone.
The Hawks, 7 wins, 8 losses at home this season. Now Peterson finding Peatling on the move. Peatling with a miss.
That's an incredible contest for the save there.
Suarez was at the rim, but Peatling got in the way. Joe, you were listening to Justin Tatum that last time out. And we'll get to Joe in a moment. Tyler Harvey. From outside, he's gone 2 from 2. That tally, Jace Kadee, you said under 5.5. He might get 10. Joe, we'll come back to you now that audio clink has been cleared away.
No worries, guys. I was just saying Justin Tatum would be a little happier with the Hawks these last couple of passages of play. It feels a little bit more chaotic. They gave up 17 turnovers in their last game, though, guys. So he's really just reminding his team to hold on to the ball and then defensively make it difficult for the Kings. He said it's been far too easy so far. We need to get a hand in their faces.
Certainly an improved response out of the timeout, Joe. From 15-5 down to a 5-point run. Maliwatch bumped away by Peatling. KD, 20 points plus in his last 7, and he's off to the line now for 2.
Well, mate, yeah, we just heard. Well, you're just seeing here, watch Mason Peatling. He's saying he's been pulled on him. I mean, I think he has a bit of a case, but to say that, I still think there's contact down low.
Fellas, what about Kendrick Davis and the way he's destroyed Illawarra this season? Game 1, he had 17 points, 8 assists. On Christmas Day, it was 27 points, 9 assists. Last time they met, 22 points, 9 assists. So scoring freely himself and setting up plenty of opportunities for his teammates.
He is, and I think it goes back to when Sydney turned the corner, it was they figured out how to get KD going and they figured out how to play off the back of that. And that's why, once again, we're having this conversation around, could he potentially dethrone Bryce as the MVP?
Bryce will point to so many personal bests in a regular season, and the fact that he is 3 times in the top 10 for assist combination. So the stats say it has to be Bryce, says Davis, the reverse finish, and another foul. He'll go back to that free throw line.
Does such a good job of drawing contact. When he can get downhill, he plays slow and plays at his own pace. We see he just wraps him into just playing at something there. It's one of him and Bryce do such a great job of being able to get to the free throw line. And Brad, I don't know if you were a scorer in your day, but getting to the free throw line definitely helps score.
I appreciate you saying that, and I know you know the answer. But for Kendrick Davis, yeah, he gets there 7 times and a game on average. And as you said, it's just so nice to be able to, get there, get some points and see it go through. But, yeah, the composure's been great.
Sydney's second in the league for points per game. Let's call it 98 per outing. They're best in the league when it comes to field goal percentage. 6 of 7 early on here. They've been to 100 points in their last 5. That's their equal longest streak, hitting triple figures in 20 years, as we see Hickey blocked by Suarez. And here comes KD back at Illawarra. And then he's blocked by QJ Peterson illegally.
Well, that was just outrageous defense. And this is something, and I think Tim Suarez is one of these guys that we don't talk about enough. Here's the move right here, and yeah, there's a foul on the body there, and KD will go back to the line. But Tim Suarez, there was a bit of talk at the beginning of the season, is this what we need? Where are we at? His defense has been the anchor for the Sydney Kings, just to be able to be there, get his body on the line. He's one of those guys that you don't have to worry about. You don't go to him at any time. He'll just go and get what he needs. He'll give you double digits in points and rebounds, and he's been a real good time for the Kings this year.
So not even halfway through the first quarter, the Kings have 21 on the board. You can see the foul now, but they are a free-scoring team.
Hey, Jason, it's not a bad thing when you can bring Torrey Craig 8th into the game, third man off the bench. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
I was just thinking that as I went through their subs. It was Delhi first, and then Port, and then Torrey Craig.
Well, he's just picked up his second, though.
He might be the fourth sub too, back out.
Tyler Harvey to the line. Torrey Craig, 538 NBA games. And in his 5 NBL games since returning to the league, 16 points per outing, 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists. When it comes to numbers, Damon Lowry says, how about my numbers in Wollongong during my playing days? Well, you can have a crack at Damon by beating the coach. If you do so, you'll score an entry into the $10,000 end-of-season prize draw. Split between $5,000 cold hard cash and a $5,000 Choice Hotels voucher.
Well, I like this from Gorge. Yes, the easy thing is to take Torrey Craig out. He's got 2 fouls, most coaches do. Just leave him out there. I love that. He knows how to play. This man knows how to play as well. But just let him go. He's good enough, and let him get in this game.
It is an added bonus too when you've got such a deep bench. You can kind of go with, we can let him and take that opportunity to let him play through it.
Mason Peatling having a crack at the 3 ball. It jumps out, and Craig gets the rebound. Davis spots Suarez, who does come armed with a 3 ball and reminds the Illawarra crowd of such. (24-12) to the visitors. Breeder looking for Peatling and finding him. Kings will stay second even if upset tonight, but the top 2 not yet locked away, and that's where Matt Dellavedova and the Kings are intent on finishing. They can yet finish with the regular season championship, depending on what Adelaide do in their final outings. Peatling again.
I think that's a big part to this. If you look at those top 3 teams, all of them are going to be saying we want to finish first and at worst second, just because home court advantage in a league that tight, especially between those top teams, it'll go a long way in the finals.
Perth up next against Brisbane, still gunning for a top 2 finish as well. These final few rounds intriguing. Here's Blanchfield blazing away, the miss there. KD puts it on the floor, spots Dellavedova in the corner, who works baseline and comes away with 2 more.
Well, Illawarra just allowing way too much penetration. Sydney Kings can do whatever they like. The last play, or the play before that, where Hugh J. Peterson got caught up on a screen. It was just an easy layup. Then Dellavedova that time. Just defensively, if Illawarra are going to play like this, there's just under 3 minutes and already 28 points. The Kings put 120 on them, and Illawarra, they just don't have enough firepower to get 120 points against this team.
Tyler Robertson checks in for the first time tonight. Playing his role beautifully through Hungry Jack's NBL26. Qualified players, he's best in the league when it comes to a 3 ball. Blanchfield struggling in that regard this season. And Brooks throws it away. And that will be a Hawks ball over and back. Wasn't touched by Illawarra in between the pass from the front court into the back court. Tyler Robertson, 5.5 points at 50%. The 3 ball falling at 44%.
I think the time right now is, and there's another turnover, unfortunately. Great pass.
For Xavier Cooks to fly to the rim.
Yeah, I think it's time Sam Frolling's got to come back in the game, and I'd like to see Davo and Sam Frolling in a two-man game. Right now, they've got nothing really going offensively. It's all against the muscle.
Foul from Sydney on QJ Peterson. They need something, Illawarra. Threatening to be blown out of the water in this first quarter.
When you look at that replay, this is where Sydney, they've just become so good at playing in the half and in the full court. And I think they've figured it out. As soon as they get a stop, they're just off and running. And that's not even with Kendrick on the floor, they look fast.
Dellavedova goes through Cooks with Robertson chiming in. The runner from Tyler jumps out. Hickey takes the rebound. Pass cross court for Greeder in game 150 to open his scoring.
Well, it comes from stops. They've just got to get stops, and right now, if they can get this down to about 8 or 7 at quarter time, I'm happy if I'm Tatum with the way they've started. Good defense here. Great defense from Illawarra. Switching, great work.
Well, that's better from the men in black. Big crowd in the sandpit. Their season in terms of a championship defence might be done, but don't underestimate the appeal of this rivalry. You look around the sandpit and see fans perched in the back row.
It's one of those places that just got that old school vibe to it, where you know when it gets busy in here, it becomes loud, raucous, and you're in for a night, especially if Illawarra get their backs up. And that's why if you're Sydney, you don't want to give them a chance to do that.
Hawks looking for a fast finish to the first quarter. Peterson's shot doesn't go. It's the Kings by 11 with a minute left. Dellavedova stalking the D, and it's all too easy for Tim Suarez.
Great patience by Delly, just gets to where he needs to, draws both and throws it over the top.
Froling, here's the whistle in his favour. He'll go to the line for a couple, but he's only shooting the freebies at 54% this season, so let's see how Sam goes on this trip. He returned against the Kings on Christmas Day with a double-double. Of course, his absence through the first half of this campaign was part of the slide for Illawarra. And farewell so many players from their championship campaign.
And that's definitely one thing for Illawarra. When you go back and you look over the season and you say we start the year we lose some people short, but then we don't have Hickey, we don't have Froling, and that's hard when you're missing key pieces to get on a roll. Then you bring everyone in, you got to get yourself back together again. It's not easy to adjust throughout the season with missing pieces.
Froling missed both, but they grabbed the O board, and now a double dribble call. Will Hickey bemused. The Kings by 13 with 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Kendrick Davis using all of that clock. As he walks into the front court, Wani Swaka the bullet in front of him. Now Davis elevates, mid-range jumper, and retreats with two more. 15 the advantage. Hickey has to go. Will Hickey on quarter time. Shot jumps out. Great start from Brian Gorgians visiting Sydney Kings. They're out by 15. Thanks to Bunnings, young hoopers got closer to the action than ever before. Bunnings courtside access has delivered epic NBL game day experiences across Australia and New Zealand, giving the next generation unforgettable experiences with every team. Bunnings courtside access, backing the next generation of ballers.
Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks. NBL to Sydney Kings leading the Illawarra Hawks 34-19. The Kings controlling the pace of the game. It's obviously helped by the fact that they're not taking the ball out of the net too much. They can run the floor. Brian Goorjian wants them to keep the aggression up here and build on this lead, guys.
Thank you, Joe. Let's talk about the 34 points the Kings have scored. That's the equal most that the Hawks have conceded in a first quarter. And it's only 1 point adrift of Sydney's best first quarter this season. They had 35 on the Phoenix in round 15. So high scoring, just the start Brian Goorjian would have wanted from his team. Not only the 34 points, but keeping Illawarra under 20.
Well, you know, you've taken 16 shots, the Kings, to Illawarra's 20, so they've had more looks at it, but they're shooting 35%. Only 7 makes for Illawarra compared to 12 makes at 75% for the Sydney Kings, and that's the ball game right there.
Can the Kings keep it rolling? Davis forced into a fadeaway that missed. As I mentioned, a good sandpit crowd, but yet to be really invited to make some noise. Who's the man to do it for the Hawks? Froling puts it on the floor, tries to get to that left arm finish and does.
Well, that's the one I was talking about, where you just get Davo coming off Froling from the top, getting that on-ball screen, and there's a backcourt. I can't believe how many times that has happened this year. But just getting back to Illawarra, they just look better with Davo with the ball, coming up high, and not just rolling into the sand. Let him come up, let him get an on-ball, and it opens the court. At a half-court set, it just feels like it's stagnant for Illawarra.
Michael Aylen, Mark Brish, Travis Stewart, our referees tonight. And there's Will Hickey. Controls things for the Hawks. Hickey to Swaka Labullock, who gets the shot away just in time. Davis tries to thread the needle now, goes outside to Robertson. Back to KD. And Suarez is in his pet position with an and one to come.
Thinking about KD before, Brad, and obviously that play generates off his pace. But the other thing to think about with his scoring is you look at that list of three-point scorers in the Mitsubishi ladder, and Sobes, Bryce, all these guys are in it. Kendrick, I don't know where he sits, but he's not close to that top 5, and he's still up there in points. It's one of those things where he's one of the few now that still lives in the mid-range and thrives in the mid-range.
It's a dying art, isn't it? But that last possession there, I don't know, maybe last year he shoots that 3, right? And then see if it drops. But right now, up fake, gets to the hoop, and not only gets a score for his team, gets a 3-point play for his big man, who's playing great as well.
Pushing foul called on Tyler Robertson. It'll be his first. Torrey Craig and Xavier Cooks nursing a couple out of the first quarter. Tyler Harvey with 2 for Illawarra will need to be watched as well. Got a flash new set of shoes on Tyler Harvey. Are they Australian green? Brad, can you analyse the footwear for me as we have a look at a fumble there from Sydney, but they get it back. Galloway to Noy. Noy shows his big stride and reach as he gets to the cup.
Illawarra got to be careful here because this is getting away from them, and it's getting away from them fast.
Wani Swaka Labullock. They needed that at Illawarra. Now Robertson back at them.
Well, you just can't have that on the score. It's just as simple as that. You're happy you hit a 3, and then one dribble kick to the corner. Tyler hits a 3, and here's another one as well. Good pass there, but unfortunately another turnover here for Illawarra.
And then they force it straight back. And the foul will be called on Davis. Froling will go to the line. Little flare-up possibility, but it's all cool. Apart from scoring a bit more freely, Brad, I'll come back to the Sydney Kings in a moment, because February 22, 36ers Breakers on the Gold Coast. They actually play tomorrow. You could put the 400K on the line tomorrow and then double or nothing on the Gold Coast, February 22.
Oh, I love it.
What do you reckon?
Love it. Well, we're just going to have a look here. They're just having a chat whether This is unsportsmanlike, and by the letter of the arm. The question is, Jace, are you playing the ball there? And to me, it's a no.
It's such a hard one these days because it wasn't any intent to, you know what I mean? There's no intent on that to hurt or anything. He tries to get back into play and make a play on the ball. Just doesn't help when you're 5'11", trying to get on the ball with a 6'10" guy.
Yeah.
Rollins 0 of 3 at the line now tonight.
Well, I'm with you, Jace. It's an 18-point ball game right now. And there's two options that the Hawks have here is to keep playing the way they're playing and they'll be down by 25 and 30 at halftime, or they can just junk it up. And chaos, I keep coming back to this word. You can't just keep doing the same thing. It's not going to work and hope the shots drop. You've got to get physicality going on the defensive end. Rolling now, going hard. Tyler make a play, and then they've got to knock down shots.
This man can do that. QJ Peterson. High off the glass and Froling second time around. Now they've got to put Sydney off their shot making because they're dropping the field goals at 70%. The three ball at 62%, Jace.
Sorry, man, I was going to say, here you go, Brad, you just said it, junk it up. That's what I had in my head. Now they get a score, come back in the zone. They've got to give them different looks so they can make it a little ugly, a little messy. And hopefully out of doing that, like that, you create some turnovers, make Sydney overthink rather than we're just going to get it and go and take whatever shot we want. I like it.
Field him, so it's 1-all, play on. Give me the ball.
Good refereeing.
Crew chief Michael Aylan in control of Suarez baseline. Big weekend for the Kings, their arch rivals Illawarra, into on Sunday the Wildcats at Kudos Bank Arena. Even Ed Sheeran's in town for that game. As one, Iswaka the Bullet backs away with 2. That looms as second versus third. Plenty on the line on Sunday as an intriguing round continues. Finals coming quickly. Harvey looking for Froling. And they turn it over. Davis, McQuatch, Malawatch. And he draws the foul.
And it wasn't from a bad place, but the zone creates some issues. They get a couple of stops, and then you come down and just throw a turnover, trying to throw a lob, and he had Sam in a weird place.
Yep.
And it just ignites this, where they get out and run, and Malawatch is able to go and get to the ring. And that's just where Sydney thrive. They're going to punish you right now, especially if you turn the ball over or take bad shots.
What's been the key to Malawatch filling in so ably for Bull Qual? He had his 11th start of the season tonight. His numbers, 7.5 points at 46%. There's 3 rebounds per outing. He's helped fill a hole that concerned some when Bull Qual went down.
Well, he has, but I think it's the whole bench. The impact's been amazing. The second unit, it doesn't just survive minutes. It often extends leads, and that's something they've been really, really good at. And each game, they're just getting better and better.
Peterson, the miss.
And that's his third on.
And that'll be a foul on Sam Froling.
No, I think... Oh, it is, sorry. I thought they called it on the Kings there. My mistake.
So Froling picks up his first. As I mentioned earlier, the Kings putting 100 points on the board in their last 5 games. 105 against Tassie, 106 against Adelaide, 122 Illawarra, 106 against Cairns, and last start 114 against Southeast Melbourne. That big win, 114-88 against one of the championship picks by many, Southeast Melbourne, so it was a statement win. Let's check in with one of the stars pre-game.
I want to ask about the permanent residency. Has anything changed around the club or Wollongong? Are people calling you Aussie when you're out getting a coffee and things like that?
No, they were already calling me that anyway. So when the PR came, I think people were surprised. I think they thought I was already an Aussie, but it's been great. The community's been great. And maybe every now and again they'll say Aussie Tyler, but I think they already thought that.
LA28, how much of a realistic possibility is this? Have you thought about potentially representing the Boomers in the USA?
To be honest, I haven't given it much thought. I know I still got to get citizenship. That's still another part of the process, but it really hasn't been in my thought process as of now.
after the Adelaide media conference, or in the Adelaide chat, I said, come on, Tyler, tell everyone how good your Australian accent is. He wouldn't buy in, but he does it the best of any American I've ever heard. If you shut your eyes, you swear you're listening to Norm at the pub.
He's got a better accent. He's got a better accent than your Wollongong one. And I loved him with the Australian singlet on as well.
Yeah,
I thought that was brilliant.
Kendrick Davis given an open look. He could have fired with his eyes shut, one hand tied behind his back. It was never going to miss.
Out of a timeout.
Yeah.
You give that up to the most dangerous person on the floor.
Man averaging 24 points per game. Second in the league only to Bryce Cotton in that regards. Now Harvey. His shot rims away. Rebound for Hickey, who scores. Joe Healy, over to you.
Yeah, just listening to the Hawks in that timeout, I've got to say body language was a little bit flat, but Justin Tatum was fired up himself, just trying to generate some energy and fight in his troops. He just said, offensively, let's slow it down a little and get the ball through some hands.
Face a mountain, don't they? At 49-31 with 5.5 still left in the second quarter.
Well, I just want to talk about this defence. Watch the double here as soon as it goes in. Now watch the other players from the Sydney Kings. Look at the rotations. Okay, someone gets the ball, they run. It kicks. Look at Delhi. Yes, they give up the three, they get the stop, and then they give up the offensive board in this position. But you just see the defensive ploy. 5 players on the floor know exactly what's going on. That is what is winning this team 8 games in a row now, on their way to 9.
They've actually won 14 of their last 16.
Yeah.
And that man, who you're looking at on screen, said when you're coaching a team in form like this on an 8-game winning streak, complacency becomes your biggest adversary. Well, not tonight. They came out from the get-go, shot at 100% for the first 2 and a bit minutes and haven't been headed since.
It is a scary thing, but it must be nice to the coach to sit there and say, the biggest thing I'm worried about is complacency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, imagine being able to sit there and go, I'm just worried about, do we think we're too good right now?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen worse.
The 6th man of the year, we're the favourites. He's happy to be, well, they are confident.
Yeah, they are, and you're right, Chase. Oh, God, are we going to win the 15th game out of our last 18? Jeez, I'm worried.
This complacency thing has got me rattled.
Well, the deal for the Kings, and they know it, if they win every game here, they cannot lose top spot. I mean, unless Adelaide win by 100 points or whatever it is over the 2 games that they play. So for the Kings, there's a lot riding on every one of these games.
That's good from Will Hickey. But how do they stop the Kings? Shooting the ball magnificently, scoring freely. Their highest half-time total of the season is 63. That's in jeopardy here. Davis is short with his shot, but the offensive board, Torrey Craig, nonchalantly, he gives it up for Dellavedova, who catches the front of the rim, and they retreat indeed. Hickey trying to go back-to-back. No. Rebound Craig again. Hasn't missed a beat since returning to the NBL, Torrey Craig. From Cairns to Brisbane to a star in the land of the Stars and Stripes. And now back to Sydney. What an addition.
Well, they brought Narkle into the game here, and quite honestly, I like this move. I just think he's one of these guys who's played a lot of games this year. They're not looking for him to come out here and get 15 points, but what he's looking for a spark. And this guy has given that throughout this season, where he can come on, grab an offensive rebound, because right now, the Kings are controlling every momentum as Davis misses the free throw. And Narkle is one of those guys that might be able to give him a lift.
They nicknamed him Sparkle, Brad, and Narkle is out there to hopefully give them a bit of that. Played 15 games in this his rookie season, averaging 6 minutes. His totals 25 points on 8 of 21 shooting. 20 rebounds, and he picked up a couple of them. Important minutes before half-time for Johnny Narkle. Here's Hickey, turning it over.
Well, that is turnover number 7.
Here we go.
for the Illawarra Hawks. And when you're giving up that and the offensive rebounds and shooting a poor percentage, it certainly makes it tough to beat this Sydney Kings team.
Corey Craig lets it fly. And this is rebounded by Peatling. And on the move it was Hickey looking for Blanchfield. Another turnover. Number 8, Davis. Can he make them pay on this possession? Kicks with 50 on the board already, and Craig did magnificently to take the pass but couldn't finish. What a reach. Peatling deposits from close range.
There's not many that would have been able to catch that last pass.
No.
Tori just reminding us, I might be a little bit older, but I can still get up there.
Go those springs.
Davis just lobbing it in for Cooks, who draws the foul. He'll head to the line.
I don't want to push him off rather than Captain Bay last night.
Well, not a lot in it, but you just saw the left hand from Blanchfield there enough to be able to get Cooks off balance here. Had the little yips earlier in the season for the free throw line, and he certainly got that stroke a little bit better. Obviously misses that, but Jace, it's a lonely planet out there when you know everyone in this crowd is asking for cheeseburgers.
They all would love some Hungry Jacks, including us on the way back to Sydney, but Zave says no. But it does reflect, if you talk about Zave's being very, very, not loud, but just spoke about his struggles early on in the year, and it was evident in his free throw. Zave's not a terrible shooter.
No.
He doesn't look at it, but he's not got a bad, terrible stroke or anything like that. He just, when you're lacking in confidence and you go to the free throw line, as Mason Peatling puts in a nice one there, everyone is staring at you. It's the one situation in basketball where all lights are on you as you shoot a free throw.
Nice extra pass from Narkle to Peatling to score. Now they force the turnover. Harvey looks around and says, I'm going to shoot the 3 and hit my mark. A bit of a momentum swing, Brad.
Very quick timeout by Brian Goorjian. He doesn't want to give them any momentum. You want to go in under 10 if you're the Illawarra Hawks. You look at the Amy replay here, and the Illawarra Hawks, good defense. There's the Narkle. There's making something happen. Goes downside, and what does this man do? Aussie Tyler Harvey knocking the 3 down.
All of a sudden, the sub for Johnny Narkle looks like a winner because the extra pass sees points at one end, and then the steal forcing a turnover at the other with points on the end of it. Back to 10. Johnny Narkle, maybe he can provide the sparkle.
But even you go back 3 minutes ago, Brad, you said the words, junk it up. Since you said that, they've gone in and out of the zone. They've actually still had some turnovers and some terrible shots, but it's helped just change the shape of a game where they've wrestled back a little bit of control.
Johnny Narkle, the NBL 1 West Grand Final MVP with the West Geraldton Buccaneers. Won the championship, averaging 12.6 rebounds per game. He's in his first year with the Hawks, and there have been some good signs across those 15 games.
Yeah, I've said it a number of times. I mean, you know, defensively, sometimes I feel for him. There was a game in Adelaide there where he was having to guard Bryce when Bryce was going off. But he plays hard, and he's given them some energy. And I just thought that was a great point you made, Matty, where he could have laid that up, but he gave up a good shot for a great shot. Then he goes down and gets the steal. This is the lift they need. It's important now. They've come out of timeouts pretty poorly, and Sydney have been able to get good looks. They want another stop here, and they're back in that zone.
Only a minute or so ago, we were having a look at Sydney's record halftime tally of 63. Since then, points have been a little harder to come by. There's another miss, rebounded by Blanchfield. And a chance for Illawarra to get it back to single figures.
Well, if they can get this man going, Blanchfield will be huge. He hasn't been able to knock down a lot of shots. It's going to Tyler, it's going to Blanchfield. These guys can shoot it. Good pass.
And there's Narkle looking for the reverse layup. Instead, he draws the foul. Narkle to the line for 2.
Well, it's a lift, you know, and they're just playing with energy. Good pass. Ball goes from one side to the next. Don't know where the foul was in that instance, but a little bit on the body. But it doesn't matter. It just creates things, and this is where they go. Knocks down the first.
So Narkle has made an impact.
You still like your sparkle comment, don't you?
Well, it's what they call it. I picked up on it from day one. Justin Tatum.
Well, here we go, up the court, little zone. Love it. Now it's down to 15, and now they've got to make a play.
It's 8 the difference. Malawatch says no, it's double figures again. Big shot, Makwatch Malawatch. He's come up with big plays back half of the season. Narkle to Peatling, left all alone, and his 3-ball goes. It was 16 of 55 from outside coming into the game. That's 29%. Oh, and there's Davis, the mid-range again, Jace.
Flat out talent.
And he's strong too. That's the one thing. KD, he looks smaller, of course, but he's so fast, and when he uses his body to hit you, that will be an offensive foul.
Called against Mason Peatling.
That's just unnecessary. You know it's Kendrick Davis. You know any contact he feels as a small bloke. I did it. We all did it, Jace. Look, just a bang. Yeah, I'm going to fall. But it makes a referee make a decision. Mason, you can't move. You just can't move on that.
Well, even that instance, he just kept running.
Yeah.
You can't just run into someone. And I know he's saying, oh, but you just can't do that. But KD going back to the other end, when he's in control of himself, when he can bump you and get to that little spot, he just creates enough room for him to be able to rise up. And like you said, Matty, back in the mid-range.
The Wollongong faithful will say we turn a blind eye to that, just running into someone. There's Davis going up, goes unrewarded initially. Suarez stays at it, and Tim Suarez comes away with points.
Well, it's those 50-50 plays that have just hurt Illawarra. Number of offensive rebounds for the Kings. They've got 5, but just the loose possessions. Just got to get a good look here, try and get that under 10 for the half.
Suarez averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds against Illawarra this season. He's done well against the Hawks.
Well, that's an interesting one. He's called it pass to himself. It felt like he went to dribble it and lost it, but to me, I didn't think that was pass to himself, Jace.
I disagree. I actually think he went to pass it.
Okay.
Off to Jay Peterson, and it's picked up by Blanchfield. So final seconds of the half. Is it the Kings by double figures, or can the Hawks get it back to single digits? QJ Peterson might let loose with a 3-ball. Instead, it'll be Johnny Narkle, plenty of air, and not the net. Now Malawatch gets tangled. There's still time for Sydney to have the final shot. It'll be Kendrick Davis from outside. No, rebound Peatling, and the Hawks fight in the final few minutes of the half. But it is still Sydney with a big score and a big lead. Well, Kings 58, Hawks 46.
Well, for the Sydney Kings, they'll be happy they're out by 12, but I think they've also given away the fact that they could have easily been out by 20. If you're the Illawarra Hawks, you're just saying that is not the start we wanted, and now we'll throw down to Joe with Tim Suarez.
Tim, talk me through the offensive performance there. KD's popping off. The guys are finding you in your spots. How does it feel for you?
No, I think we're doing a good job moving the ball. We're playing fast, which is where we like to play. Just got to keep making shots and attacking the rim.
What about at the defensive end? What will the message from Gorge be in the locker room?
I think we're turning over the ball, so that's leading them to some easy stuff. But I think our first hits are good. Just got to finish with the rebound and run on them. So
good luck for the rest.
Thank you.
Well, Tim Suarez there. It's the Kings in control, 58-46, but we know the Hawks haven't given up just yet. Jason Brad will join me when we come back to discuss.
Thank you for your incredible support throughout the NBL26. Now it's time to lock in your seat for NBL27 for just $50. You can secure your membership deposit and guarantee your priority access when renewals open. Don't miss your chance to be part of another huge season
watching the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's a big rivalry game here in Wollongong. The Kings with the upper hand at the half. They are leading the way 58-46. They came out with a bang, Jace Goody, Brad Rosen, but the Hawks sort of steadied the ship towards the end of that second quarter.
No, they did, and Brad said it halfway through the second quarter. They need to junk it up and just be a little bit different. They can't just go through trading basket for basket, but as you can see in the first half there, Sydney have been so efficient, and a lot of it has stemmed from Kendrick Davis.
You look at the shots, they're similar. You look at three-pointers, they're similar. Okay, a bit more from free throws, but it really just comes down to the way Sydney Kings are playing. It's 24-9 on fast break points. That's because Illawarra, too many turnovers. They haven't played their offensive real well. If I'm Coach Tatum here, I'm thinking, thank God we're not down by 25. We've got a chance to win this game. And if I'm Coach Gorgian, we should be up by 25. So I think right now we're at that very sneaky time of the game, and it depends what the next 5 minutes brings.
Well, the Kings have been controlling at the tempo, thanks in large to Kendrick Davis. 19 points to his name. He's just a general out there for the Kings.
No, and I keep saying it over and over again, but he's been the key to what's turned around. Yes, everyone else is playing well, but they've figured out how to make him in the conversation for the MVP and how we thrive around it. And you can see tonight, he's just doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Jace, you said that word control. It's just so true. The Sydney Kings are moving as fast as he wants them to. He controls the whole game, whether it's the pace, whether it's pull it out, whether it's shoot the three, whatever it is, this guy is playing a brilliant half. You look at the Blackmore shot chart, you cannot ask better from your point guard to play that way.
Just watching him out there in that first half, am I right in saying that it looks like he's only in second or third gear in this game?
Well, he has the ability, and very few players have that ability, but the ones that do, they're really, really good. And you can't tell me to. He knows what's going on in the background, all these conversations everyone's having, and I just need to put another little tick next to my name of how well I'm playing, and we're winning.
Us mere mortals, that's gear 45. But for him, it doesn't look, and that's the beauty of when you play with a guy like him. It doesn't look like it. And Torrey Craig's one of those guys as well. Everything is just at the pace you want. It's a privilege to watch this man play.
What about for the Illawarra Hawks? Johnny Narkle came in that first half and really provided a bit of a spark for them.
Yeah, he did, and he's done a great job playing in the NBL 1, so when Illawarra brought him in, it wasn't surprised that they've given him a chance. And you can just see he just come in and made the right plays, just made simple decisions. I'm not going to try and come in and do too much. I just want to try and do some little things to see if I can help the group. And that was right around the time they started to junk it up, and it went in their way.
One of the big things in coaching is what changes can you make to be able to get your team going. He looked everywhere, Tatum, so he says, righto, Johnny, get out there, see what you can give us. And he's given them a great lift. It's exactly what they needed right now. That, with the zone, it was extremely well coached, and Narkle led that.
We alluded to it off the top of the broadcast. This is just the first in a Friday night doubleheader. The second game over in Perth is the Wildcats taking on the Brisbane Bullets. And it's a pleasure to welcome in Damien Martin and Annalie Maley. Now, guys, we're looking forward to this one as well.
Yeah, this will be a great game. I'm really looking forward to the power and the paint matchup. We've got JLA, Tyrell Harrison. That's the matchup I'm really looking forward to.
For me, it's about the mindset of both of these teams. Brisbane Bullets down towards the bottom of the ladder. They've only got one more game to go after this one, and that's against the Sydney Kings. With the Perth Wildcats, they want to continue climbing the ladder in preparation for finals basketball, but they too face the Sydney Kings, but their game is on Sunday in the Harbour City. So could both teams show up today ready to go, doing whatever it takes to get to a win, or are they going to switch off a little bit, either playing for contracts, thinking of holidays, or thinking of the Sydney Kings? I just hope they're ready to play some good basketball, because this RAC arena is going to be filled tonight.
Damo, I wanted to ask you a question. You've been in situations, you've won multiple championships. What are you telling your Perth Wildcats tonight in such a big game? And the reason it's big, you want to climb that ladder.
Yeah, so often you talk about how it's not about the ladder, it's about who's playing us next, it's about being present, where your feet are, yada, yada, yada. You know what? You need to bring this up. It's a massive doubleheader this weekend, and we're all humans. The players behind me, they know they're playing the Sydney Kings, who have had their number this season. The Sydney Kings have beaten the Wildcats in every matchup. Who cares about the Kings right now? They need to climb the ladder. It starts against the Brisbane Bullets, who will beat you if you're not switched on and ready to go. So I would actually have that ladder played in front of them this week, saying, don't worry about the Kings, let's take care of Brisbane first. Otherwise, we can go this way or this way.
A couple of big games here on the Hungry Jacks NBL Friday Night Hoops. Damo, Annalie, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck for the call later. We've still got a big 20 minutes of basketball here at the Wynn Entertainment Centre, though. The Sydney Kings have the upper hand against the Illawarra Hawks. What can the defending champs do in this second half? Find out when we come back.
This is just some of the NBL in-stadium fun. Couples trying to detangle. Those who did it best win a Valentine's Day outing. Brad, I hope you got our restaurant booked tomorrow. You can pay.
I would do that with you, Matty, out there. I reckon we would be amazing.
If you pay, I'll give you a kiss. How about that? Valentine's Day, February 14. Make sure you enjoy it.
You would do it for free.
58-46, the Kings in control. The live ladder, that would send the Kings to top spot. They've been aiming for the top 2 for so long, breaking in recent weeks. Can they finish as regular season champions? Adelaide, Southeast Melbourne might have something to say about that. Perth to play Brisbane next, and then come to Sydney on Sunday. They also have designs on the top 2, but the first half dominated by Kendrick Davis, 19 points, 6 assists, continuing his big numbers against the Hawks. But Tim Suarez, 10 points and 5 rebounds. His plus-minus, positive 16, the most by any player on the floor tonight. Johnny Narkle, the only Hawk with a positive plus-minus, as Mason Peatley and Tyler Harvey shared scoring honours with 11 each. Peatley finding Froling, the extra pass, Swaka bullet. Nice start to the third quarter from the Hawks.
Well, exactly what you're on. If you're Illawarra and you've got to get into this, it starts with pace and disruption. You've got to speed that game up. You've got to change the look on Davis. Don't allow easy shots and get turnovers like that one there. This is time for Illawarra to go.
When they led by 18, it was looking like getting real ugly, but they fought back in the second, and it's a single-figure margin as we speak.
Well, it was, Matty. It was structured. It was just too structured by the Hawks. There's the junk we're talking about. Chaos, junk ball, whatever it is. Just get this Sydney Kings out of their comfort zone.
And Jalen Galloway can't inbound the ball in time. Joe, over to you.
It was much more positive from the Hawks, just listening in at halftime. Justin Tatum trying to instill some belief in his team. He said this first 3 minutes is imperative to this half. We've got 20 minutes to slowly peg this back.
Yes, they do not want to be swept by Sydney. Last year it was the Hawks 4-0 against the Kings. And this year, Sydney said we want to return the favour, and they'll do that if they hold or extend this lead.
Perfect start.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, if you're Justin Tatum right now, you're stoked with this. Bit of energy, some stops.
Malawatch, he's delivered some big blows to the Hawks tonight. There's another one. Up to 8 points, including 2 triples. Rolling over the top of Suarez, and the shot jumps out. Cooks, a deflection off Froling.
Only one's good, only one's good.
How high does this man go tonight? 19 points in the first half. Suarez the miss, and then Davis grabbed the rebound and got fouled.
Black 22, push, go. Baseline, let's go. Here we go, white.
Pushing foul called on Peatling. That's his third. So Mason needing to be a little careful from here. He stays out there.
Yeah, I'm just watching Jalen Galloway here. He's just limping, and there's a turnover again on an out-of-bounds play. Looked like he tweaked the ankle here.
Chase, next baseline inbound. Sorry, Brad. Yeah. Here you go. Jalen, just step aside. Let me look after this one.
Well, that one was his fault. The first one was the rest of the group's fault. There's nothing worse as an inbounder when the group doesn't get open and you feel like you're going to throw it away. As Greeder nails a 3. But yeah, that's one of the worst feelings. When you're the inbounder and people don't get open, nothing more you want to do than yell at everyone.
Greeder, 2 from 2 from outside. He's 2 of 3 for the game.
That's the junk you want. That is the shot you want Davis taking. It's not the best look that he's had all game. He's coming off, just tries to knock the 3 down as Galloway checks out. Takes a forced 3. They get the rebound, or at least the out-of-bounds play. Now they have another set here.
Illawarra trying to really work their way back into the contest. Peatling. The long ball is a no. Rebound Davis. Kendrick's shot jumps out. Froling, supported by Greeder.
Oh, well done.
Froling. Greeder gets to the rack. Sam Froling, the provider.
The point guard, Matty. Sam Froling running the lanes.
Harassed by Xavier Cooks along the way. He held on, found his mark. And there's a little settler for Sydney, courtesy Tim Suarez.
My first person off the bench here right now is going back to Narkle. I love his energy. This is great from the Illawarra Hawks. Just keep it going.
Froling can't score. Suarez rebounds. Now it'll be Kendrick Davis for Delhi. Little fumble from Dellavedova. Suarez rolls and draws the foul.
There's definitely contact.
Well, we talk about Sam Froling running the lanes, gets the ball, look at this. Passes it off to his 150th game teammate, Dan Greeter. Jumps up at the Wynn Entertainment Centre and finishes with the two hands.
Suarez makes the first. An 82% free throw shooter this year. There is the most famous mullet in Wollongong. He's had a good back half of the season. Yeah. Great shooting clip. Plenty of points when called on by Justin Tatum.
Well, they need big minutes here from Davo. 4 turnovers in the first half with his 11 minutes to go with his 5 points. They just need him giving, and that's a great look from Harvey.
Soft touch, Brad. Right at the moment it left his fingers. Cooks being made to work by Blanchfield, and he'll go to the line, Davia.
Well, that's a tough cover. That is a tough cover for Blanchfield. Don't know if you can just leave him one-on-one, Jace. I'm doing something of doubling it or just not leaving Blanchfield out there on an island with him.
Maybe on the first few dribbles, but once Zave's able to take 4, 5, 6, 7 dribbles, it gets harder and harder for a smaller guy because Zave moves so well. But especially when he's able to face up, the one positive to fouling him in the end is Zave's also had his struggles from the line this year at times.
The crowd knows that 3 cheeseburgers are up for grabs, and Xavier Cooks feeds the state of New South Wales. Thanks to the great team at Hungry Jack's. Just log on to the NBL app or website. Your code word is ISO. Follow the prompts, enter the code word, head to Hungry Jack's, show them the app, and away you go. Load up on cheeseburgers. Tyler Harvey, great ball handling despite the presence of Dellavedova. Now Blanchfield off the glass.
It's a great run. This is a great start, the first 4.5 minutes here. Illawarra's just played their way, played it smart, no crazy turnovers, and just taking the right shots.
They've limited the Kings to 7 points for the first 4.5 minutes until Kendrick Davis says, hang on a second, I'm back.
Well, just no communication. Are we switching? Are we doubling? Are we slipping? You certainly don't go under, as they look like they wanted to at one stage.
In for an 8th game in a row now. Kendrick Davis, 20 points plus.
And you'll see Illawarra now. This is a set they ran against Perth a few weeks ago often. They bring it down and they put Tyler Harvey and Sam Froling in the middle of the floor, and they just do it to try and get Tyler open. And then once he gets open, they read off that. Yep. On balls, they back screen. We're going to have a challenge here. That's Gorge. Issues to the bench, and once again we're going to see his challenge guy under the pump here.
While we're doing that, the 100-year tour, don't miss your chance to follow the Globe Trotters, June, July this year, Australia, New Zealand. Buy your tickets by scanning that QR code.
I am convinced the Washington Generals are going to win this one.
I'm convinced you're wrong again.
Nah, they're going to get it. They're going to get it. It's got to change, Matty. Look, let's go back to, on a serious note, we'll talk about this challenge. From the angle, we had a pretty good angle. I thought Delhi went under him as Davo's going on. So you'll see the pass here. You can't see, to me, Delhi just goes under there, and right that on the body to me is a
Not
foul.
in position.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, I wouldn't be giving that.
Well, you might be wrong with the Washington Generals, but you are right with the coach's challenge.
Matty, you're going to eat your words when the Washington Generals win.
Coach's challenge dismissed. Sorry, George. The big red X means you're done.
Jace, I got a serious question now. Are you relaxed if you're the coach now that is doing video? Like, you can't look at me again for the rest of the game.
And the thing is, too, I'm looking at their staff. He's got Billy T, who's been around forever and a day. He's got Bogues. You just got eyes on you that you just don't want that pressure.
Oh, can you imagine being asked to do that job?
No, wouldn't do it. No, couldn't pay me enough.
Okay, let's go the other way. I had it reviewed by Replay Centre, and that was the outcome.
Did they have video review when you were assistant coaching, Brad?
Mate, they didn't have videos.
They did. You just need to hit rewind on the old VCR. Video cassette recorder.
Good times. Back in beta days. Well, Johnny Narkle's back in the game here, so they will again. Here they go, extending a bit of pressure. Just a 1-2-2.
Trailing by as many as 18. They're back within 6. Worth mentioning, last time they played at home, the Hawks had their biggest comeback win of the season. From 16 down against Adelaide. Blanchfield feeling it. A miss, but the rebound to Narkle, who draws the foul.
And there he is again. Yeah. Just a little extra effort, and geez, Toddy Blanchfield had some great looks.
You just want them to drop for him. You just feel...
I don't think I've seen him miss so many back-to-back great looks.
Unbelievable.
17-season veteran who's renowned as a shooter, delivered some huge blows across the best part of 2 decades in the NBL. But this season it's been a bit tougher. And it'll be a jump ball, possession arrow is going Sydney's way.
Well, you don't mind that. Johnny Narkle, this guy, well, he's just been tremendous since he's come on. Everything he is doing. And right now, I love this, what Narkle's doing. I like QJ Peterson at this stage. He is a type of guy, third quarter, hasn't really exploded yet. You go to him, he can knock shots down. He can put the ball in the hole. Get him going early. This guy can hit 3 threes very quickly.
Round 21 started last night, a thriller. Melbourne over Cairns tonight. We start a doubleheader in the Gong. Next up, Perth against Brisbane. Here's Kouatnoy off target. Hawks breathing some life back into this game. Slow start by the home team. But all of a sudden, quite clearly, the body language suggests they believe. And Narkle the follow-up. Johnny Narkle to 4 points, but don't underestimate the impact he's had on this game. Davis, a squirt of acceleration, and he draws the foul.
Now, that's excellent by KD, but once again, if you're Illawarra, and this is probably part of Johnny Narkle's learning, you putting pressure on KD at half court is not what I need to see, because guess what? You're probably not going to be able to stay in front of him, because 99% of the league can't. Get back into that zone you've been playing or whatever it is, but don't ignite it. Don't allow that to happen when now he's at the free throw line and getting to a place where he sits and enjoys.
He's been very able to get to the free throw line tonight. He's 8 of 9 at the stripe, make it 9 of 10. So 9 of his 24 points coming at that location. There's his season average on the board with the best part of 4 minutes left in the third. How can Illawarra put a clamp on Kendrick? Not like that. A turnover, and they'll defend him here. Big assignment, Narkle again. It's Davis for Cooks. It's 2,000 career points for Xavier Cooks, a little milestone in his successful NBL career. Hickey, a rebound for Peatling. And now a travel call against the home team.
Well, it's frustration in his face. You can see it. He's trying his hardest, but it's just not getting there tonight. It's the stops now. You can't leave this man open.
Because Tyler Robertson drops the 3 ball at 44%. A tangerine timeout forced on Justin Tatum.
And that's just the difference in the groups. They just, turnovers kill them, and Sydney are in a place where they just know who they are and they'll punish you over and over and again to win it.
Sydney by double figures again, so here's their coach.
That's on us. That's on us. We mess up, we got to turn around. Get back into it. When we make it, I'm only calling 5 off the free throws. Free throws. After free throw makes, that's it. That's it. Then after that, do your job. Let's get on the page with that. I wanted 25 doubles, still do. QJ and TB in it. All right? Johnny, stay aggressive on this end because we might get you on the back door. And then you guys figure it out on that end. Chip away, man. Stay disciplined. Defense.
Second year of a 3-year contract, Justin Tatum. Very different campaign this year from the championship season, quite obviously. And it's been reflected in what he's needed to do in his coaching, quite often willing his team on, trying to urge them back into the game, rather than design tactics or plays as a front runner like he was last season. Interesting to watch. Peterson clamped on 2 points tonight. 1 of 5 shooting. 0 of 2 from outside. Hickey, turn and shoot successfully.
And that's better for Davo. I think before, you get lost in trying to do something, it's not all you'll go back down, back down, back down. But now he just plays with pace and gets a bump into a spot that he likes. But with QJ, and Brad, I don't just feel like he hasn't really looked at the ring.
Davis misses. Torrey Craig, big O board. It's Kwat Noi, I'm sorry. Noi, offensive rebound. The score with an and 1.
Well, the Sydney Kings in these last few minutes have got back into their comfortable zone, and that's how they easily build that lead to an 11-point, probably going to be 12 here after Kwat Noi knocks it down. So we set it all game. It gets back to that jump ball, do something different, and now it's on the Illawarra Hawks to see if they can respond yet again.
And they go back to this set where they set it with QJ, and then they set one for QJ with Blanche to try getting a look, and then they just play off the back of it.
How many runs do the Hawks have in them? Hickey on the shot. Narkle. Athletic rebounds. And there's a foul on Sydney.
And it's on KD. Gordon just telling him.
That's his 4th. That's a big foul in the contents of this game.
Gorge was telling him for the last 3 minutes, don't foul, don't foul, don't foul. And to your point now, I'm not more qualified than Brian Gorge, but maybe that's where you would have got him a quick one, knowing that if he gets his 4th, it can dictate how this game goes.
He's fouled out twice this season. Kendrick Davis, wild shot from Greeter, and Kwat Noi. Greeter gets back, make sure there's no easy bucket for Noi, and he commits the foul.
Well, thankfully, he's okay. Great pass there from Delhi. And Greeter, certainly no malice in that, just hustling back. Don't the baseline crowd love it.
So Kendrick Davis forced to sit on 24 points and 9 rebounds, not to mention, 9 assists, not to mention 5 rebounds. On the missed free throw from Noi. Greeter. Tough shot, won't go. Tough shooting for Kwat Noi. He had 3 cracks at it. Still came away empty. QJ Peterson.
That's all right, I don't mind. I'm with you, Jace. He's got to look at the ring. This guy's had a 40-point game in the NBL. He knows how to put the ball in the hole.
He's 1 of 3 from outside. And that's better from Torrey Craig this time.
Well, it comes to a stage, Jason, I'm interested to know you. If he's not shooting or looking at the ring and not scoring, then there's no need to have him out there.
Well, not with this group, because you need points and you need someone who can create, and that's the one thing he can do for their group, create. But if he's not looking to create, especially for himself, well, then you've got other guys who can go and defend the Tories and stuff like that as well.
Offensive board Peatling allows the Hawks to reset. With the left hand, Hickey, no. Rebound, Robertson. So the Kings by 15. In the shadows of three-quarter time, have they seen off the Hawks charge here? Shot clock 3 seconds inside the game clock. Robertson, let's rip. No, yes! It came out, it went back in.
That's a great pass by Delhi.
Tyler to 9 points. And there's QJ Peterson earning a trip to the line for 3.
Well, that's Delhi's third foul. It's a good effort by QJ. Don't think Delhi could do much more than that, but they can't challenge it, of course, but contact was made.
As you go back here, watch Delhi here, just sees him going under his nose, catches Greta sleeping and Tyler, and that's just Delhi. He's knowing what's happening before he even gets to the action. And that's the definition of a point guard, someone who can read the floor and understand where people are standing.
Peterson, good free throw shooter, makes the first. Tyler Robertson already with a 14-point game against the Hawks this season. He has 9. A very efficient trip this evening. QJ now 2 from 2 at the stripe. So the margin looks like being 15 heading into the last. And then the Hawks would have to repeat the sort of final quarter heroics they gave here last home game against Adelaide. One and a half seconds left in the quarter. Delamadova from midcourt, no. So Illawarra with work to do. The Sydney Kings, 84, lead the home team 69.
Welcome back. It's the Sydney Kings leading the way over the Illawarra Hawks, 84-69 with 1 to play. The Hawks asked the questions of Sydney in that third quarter, but the Kings had the answers. Looking at the numbers, it doesn't look all that bad for the Hawks, but it's the timing of their misses and letting up any momentum that they get. Guys, if you are Illawarra right now, how do you turn this around?
You get back to junking up the basketball game, and you've got to turn it back in your favour, and they did that through playing a little bit ugly. But right now, if they're going to do it, they have to do it in the first 3 minutes. Make Sydney call a timeout, wrestle back control, and then you can play from there.
And that's not going to help. Single digits is the key at the 6-minute mark. That's the whole focus of this team should be right now. And if you're the Sydney Kings, well, it's quite simple. Play through the paint, handle the pressure, and finish possessions nicely, like that one right now.
And Kawatnoi makes that single figures with 6 to play, Brad, a bit tougher to achieve.
Well, it does. Like I said, get your feet in the paint. Don't take early threes. You don't need to. Don't create tempo for Illawarra. But these turnovers have been a key. And unfortunately for Davo, that is his 7th turnover for the game.
Kawatnoi makes the most of it and then reminds the crowd what he's forced them to do. Sit down and be quiet. A bit like your teachers at school, Brad.
What makes you think I went to school?
The days you weren't wagging. 87-69. The Kings on top of the live ladder and loving life as Torrey Craig sets off. Now Noi. Up-tempo, skillful. A lot to like about the Sydney Kings right now as they're heading towards 9 in a row. The margin's back out to 20. That's the biggest lead of the game right now.
What, two? Oh!
Well, one of the keys that we've spoken about as the foul's called there on Torrey Craig, one of the keys we've spoken about, that's his third, for the Illawarra Hawks is their emotions. They have been up and down and they have a tendency to lose their emotion when things don't go well. They have to be careful here and not to force shots and let the Kings run.
Robertson trying to get away from Harvey, who commits the foul. Little push away from Xavier Cooks. The men in green are straight into it.
Yeah, good time out here from Brian Gorgian.
Yeah, I'm not letting you go. Over here, please. It was a foul. What's everybody chipping about? No. Yeah, I just want you guys to stand here. I don't want you to go near there. Just stand here. Go to your bench so we can make this decision.
Well, you just heard the referee say get to the bench. Brian Gorgian ran over to the bench and called a timeout and then literally walked onto the court and grabbed the 5 of them, looked at them and said, get over here.
So Brian Gorgian all about de-escalation this week.
Well, it is, but he's upset. Look at him. Right now, he's going to be saying to his team, no, we don't get into that. That's not what we're about. Don't get anything out of this game except building what we've done all game. None of this right now.
The game slipping away from the Hawks. Here it is in replay. You can see the foul there from Tyler Harvey, and Xavier Cooks just with something that could have easily resulted in a flare-up.
And I just think you've seen a reaction. He didn't shove him, but I think what Gorge is also saying there, to your point, Brad, there's times where you need a bit of that to provide some juice to your group, where you need a bit of that push and shove. But for their group right now, don't fall into the trap of what Illawarra need. That's what they need to turn this around. Let's just worry about us, and I think that's what he was saying there. Guys, I don't care what they do down that end. For us right now, we need to take care of this.
Yeah, so Brian Gorgian, all about de-escalation, about saying that's not us. Let's calm this down, get back to our best ball. We're not going to be dragged into a push and shove, a slug with the Hawks. And that foul on Tyler Harvey upgraded. That's his 3rd personal now for Tyler.
Yeah, look, I thought Southeast Melbourne Phoenix did a fantastic job in the first half last week of doing that to the Kings. They caused them to get that frustration and everything. You saw what happened with Foxwell on the deep. And I don't mind that. I think that was really good at what you've got to do, because we talk about with the Kings, they're so composed at the moment. Everything is feeling like slow motion, so you've got to change their tempo. And that's something where Brian's just had a timeout and go, no, 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 we don't go down that path. He would have watched that first half and realised, I don't want to see that anymore.
Dellavedova finding Xavier Cooks. He's boisterous tonight, Xavier. Saved some of his best form for his old home region, and he's laughing his way back into defence. Swaka Labula, mid-range jumper, nice finish.
Saw Eric Cooks walking in today, and he had a Sydney Kings warm-up top on. I thought, look what Zave's done to his old man.
Kwat off the mark. He was ready to celebrate, Kwat too. All four sides of the stadium were about to cop a bit of Kwat Noi had that shot gone down.
Jason, I want to ask you, with KD on 4 fouls and the fact that he's not playing, do you extend if you're Illawarra? Like, what's the use of just seeing how you go? Do you extend up the court? You may give up some layups, but you've got to try something.
Even that 1-2-2 they went to, whenever you get a chance, go into that to try and just push up some pressure and then going back to the zone even. But you've got to try something different, because right now this game in the last 8 minutes of game time has just got away from them as Zave gets another dunk.
Spending plenty of time hanging from the rim. Xavier Cooks up to 11 points on 5 of 7 shooting. It's tougher at the other end for this man. But he walks his way to the rim, drops 2, and he'll go to the line for another one. Foul called on Cook, so he'll take a seat with number 3.
Yeah, looking very
What do you do? Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Xavier looks very happy. The bench is up. Knows he's given good minutes tonight.
What do you do with a man sitting 2 seats down, Kendrick Davis?
Sit him, stay.
Yeah,
no need.
Just prepare for Perth on Sunday?
Yep, absolutely. 48 hours away. They've got to come all the way over. They've got a game after this one. Of course, they're playing Brisbane. But if this game stays where it is, you do not need him to play right now.
If that's the case, it'll be a 3rd time this season that Kendrick Davis has had a 20-point game and a 9-assist game against Illawarra.
Xavier.
Play smart here, guys.
Wouldn't it be nice, and I'm saying that, Jace, because you had a shot at my points before, wouldn't it be nice to have that athleticism?
it'd be nice to have those long arms too.
Joe, what do you got for us?
Just talking about KD sitting on the bench, guys. What about the MVP race right now? If I'm KD, I'm tapping Gorge on the shoulder and saying, mate, put me in. Yeah, okay, I've got 4 fouls. But I want that MVP. I want you to want me to want that MVP as well. What do you do in this situation?
Well, if I'm anyone, I'm not tapping Gorge on the shoulder, because that's Brian Gorge, Joe. You don't tell him what to do. Oh, look, you're right, but there's a bigger ticket. You're just looking at, it's not about the MVP, although some people might think it is, but it's about winning the game.
Well, Gorge might turn around and say, I'm more about winning the championship.
Yeah. Jace is very quiet here. You're sitting on, I can see KD's side. No, get back in there.
Here's Tyler Robertson. Rebound to Peterson. Harvey spots Blanchfield. Is this the shot? Yes, it is.
He was overdue.
Sooner or later theory. 5th attempted 3 tonight is his first successful one.
And this is the best man to have the ball right now, why you don't need KD in the game. Just let Delhi run this. It'll be beautifully positioned. Get the ball to the right man, and they'll sink their shots.
Like that.
Yeah. Just beautiful offense. Delhi will be the orchestra out there. He will just take it and make this team come home easily.
Troy Craig, the score at one end, the defence at the other end,
as they take Delhi out of the game.
It helps when you bring Sean Bruce.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not losing any composure
that's
there.
Very true. Very true.
Dellavedova's 13 points per game against Illawarra are his most against any opponent. He does well against the Hawks, but Gorge, no eye for the stats, says come and take a seat.
Well, you'd have to be thinking, he is thinking now Sunday. You'd have to be. There's no need. Let the guys now, you look at that team on there, that's certainly good enough.
Well, his thought is too, right? He's got a group that he believes we're playing 20 points up here. I believe we can push this out with this group, if not hold that lead. And I think that's a bonus. You go into a game on Sunday against Perth. Perth are about to play in an hour's time. Corey Craig always makes a tough shot. And Tyler Harvey's frustrations have shown in the last few minutes. But Perth play in a few hours' time, then they have to fly across. You just got to drive back up the freeway. You've got to take advantage of that, as we see here. Just Tyler's been a little bit frustrated, and these two have had a little bit of a running battle. He just fouls him on that, gives him a little stare down after.
I was thinking during the week, I know it's not the game that we're dealing with, but Perth versus Brisbane. If you're Perth, do you get a red-eye out tonight so you can spend the whole day in Sydney preparing for that Sunday game, or do you just leave it to tomorrow, meaning 3 hours behind, means you get in very late tomorrow afternoon?
Two of the scariest words in the world, red-eye.
Yeah,
We used to get it.
Hard, though.
We used to get it back in the day.
I used to do it,
and I used to hate it because I always sleep the whole next day anyway. I don't know if there is a right answer, but you are right in saying you do get that whole next day in Sydney to rest and recover. I don't know if there's a winning formula. Someone does have it. Let us know.
Yeah.
Bowling needs the right formula at the moment. Everything's so tough in the face of Tim Suarez. And triple figures on the board for a 6th game in a row now for the Sydney Kings. There is the live ladder. So Sydney in pole position. The Perth Wildcats, if they can beat Brisbane in the game to come, they'll go to 20 wins for the season.
And you also look at that, not only 20 wins, they'll build on their points for and against, which is, a very big key. And remembering of how we know the play-in works, of course you want a second bite by being in that 4th spot. So very interesting couple of games coming up.
Sydney's run home against Perth on Sunday. That's at Kudos Bank Arena. And then in Brisbane next Friday night. To the River City to close the curtain on their regular season and maybe regular season championship, as Malawatch, the finger roll finish, foul along the way, a possible 3-point play.
Great ball movement. Sydney just moving the ball, getting to where they need to, and then punishing rotations and closeouts. And I think that's why this group is just humming along nicely, because they just know how to play together, and they're really just taking advantage of what the defense gives them at all times.
I mean, we talk about most improved. I know I've come out enough and said it's Flynn Cameron, but this guy has had a tremendous season. Taken his score from, doubled his output, his percentage in shooting 45% from the field, given him just over 3 rebounds a game, energy, rebounding, athleticism, and his defense has been great.
Shot clock at 5. It's with Sam Froling. Shot short. Rebound, an athletic Craig again. His 35-year-old leg is still working clearly. The arms, great reach and wingspan. Pleasure to watch. And Suarez dunks 2 over the top of Blanchfield.
Well, that's 16 and 7 for Tim Suarez. What a great game. 6 of 9 from the field, as an offensive foul is going to be called here on Tyler Harvey.
Brad, back to what Tim Suarez has done against Illawarra this season, averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds a game, and out of the contest, Tyler Harvey. His 5th personal foul, his first foul out of the campaign. Not before he dropped 4 triples. 16 points on 5 of 9, but
did they challenge this? They've called a timeout. Is that a challenge from the Hawks?
I think they're out of challenges, aren't they?
No, it's not a challenge. No,
either
sorry.
way, Tyler's a pretty cool customer. Like the way he goes about it and his mannerisms. You could see a bit frustrated tonight, and it's probably a build-up over the course of the season.
The road to the championship. Remember, you've got the play-in tournament featuring teams 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we hit the semi-final stage. So the top 2 teams, Illawarra and Adelaide currently, they are in great position because you go straight to a semi-final by finishing top 2.
Well, that's why Perth is the key. They want to win that because they want to be 4th, and if they happen to lose that on the road, at least they get a home final. But that's, 1 and 2. But, if you're the Sydney Kings, you want to finish 1. If you're Adelaide, you want to finish 1, because in theory, you're going to think whoever finishes 2 will play that 3rd team that you know is going to be Sydney, is going to be whoever that could be with Adelaide or Southeast, you want to see them in a grand final.
You've got to look at it too. For a team like Adelaide, we get to give Bryce a break.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other part that's important. That team misses some time because the playing games have to happen. For a team like Adelaide who's put a lot on Bryce, hey, mate, guess what? Next week, I don't want to see ya.
Yeah, but it also could be too long. This is the juggle that coaches have because we've got the FIBA break, remember. So you've got a FIBA break, then you got the play-ins, then you got the semi. That's a long time off for that first and second team.
Didn't stop the regular season champion winning last year's title.
No, and I don't think it will. I think it'll come from the top two, in my opinion, where that championship will come from, because home court advantage is huge. But this is the sports side, yeah.
It adds a layer. It's a bit scary when someone come off some games and feel good about themselves going into a series, because game one in those 3-game series is crucial.
Yeah, the shot's still not falling for QJ Peterson. Joe, you want to weigh into this discussion?
I just wanted to talk about the Hawks. Yeah, they're showing a fair bit of fight in the huddle, which is really good as QJ gets the steal there. But I spoke to Tyler Harvey before the game. He just said they need to try and build some momentum towards next season. Obviously, they're out of this one, they're out of the play, and a lot of the players' contracts are locked away for next year, so they're not necessarily playing for their livelihoods or contracts or anything, but it's just good to see them digging in. Obviously, they've still got to build towards next season and beyond.
Joe, I'll run through the players contracted for next season. Todd Blanchfield, Sam Froling, Dan Greeder, Will Hickey, Mason Peatling, Wani Swakala-Bullock.
Yeah, I have no personal problem with what they've got. I think where they need to go to, and I think it's quite what we discussed earlier, Jace, is I just think that point guard, I really like QJ Peterson. He's a scorer, he can put the ball in the hole, but that's not what this team needs. This team needs that Trey Kell style of big guard that complements the players around him, which is the Tyler Harvey. Remember, Tyler is still an import next year. Yes, he's Australian, but that's the year after. So that means they've got 2 import spots available, and they have to think seriously how they're going to do that.
Well, there's a team option when it comes to Bill Bales. Jackson Ball is off to the Uni of Wisconsin, so that leaves JaVale McGee and QJ Peterson, both free agents.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting what they do. And as I said, I think QJ has got a spot in an NBL team just with the Australian contingent that this team's got. I'm not sure of the tier, Jace.
Get a name for you. Montrezl Harrell. Does he fit this lineup as a 4-5 alongside Sam Froling the way he did with Isaac? Has he played in this league?
Sorry.
He'll be watching.
Oh, wow.
That man says he's open to returning to the Hawks. He's open to staying in Australia.
Look, he's box office.
Pre-game, I know he's in front of a Hawks corporate function, but he said he has loved Australia.
Well, I don't know if there's a better guy to answer that than you, Jason. I mean that because off the court and what he brings, I know you're extremely high on that, and he is great that way. So my answer is, going on your feeling, if I'm correct and you're going to answer this, yeah, I would.
Yeah, 100%, because you look at people, when they come out here and what he's achieved, if he comes out here with the mindset of, oh, you're all Australians, I've made more money and all that kind of thing, it never works. But guys who come out and just like being a part of it and want to embrace the culture and embrace the guys, and that's what makes a difference. And I've seen it in a number of guys. Josh Childress was one.
Yeah,
Tyler Johnson. Like, I've had some great teammates who came out and just loved their time. And so then it gets to that situation where JaVale's like, I want to stay.
Here's Sean Bruce for Sydney, chasing his own miss, but Bilwali Bales grabs the rebound. Peterson finding Blanchfield, who made his last 3, and he's gone back-to-back. JaVale McGee's favourite part about Australia, our beaches, his least preferred. He said we speak too fast. Oh, and Brad Rosen.
As if he said my name. But Jace, are you saying if you got a Montrezl, you're still going to get a point guard?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I'm just thinking of someone who you could play in the 4, like that 4-5, like Darius Days. He might not have been a massive part of what they did last year, but he was a point of difference.
He was big, yeah.
And so for Illawarra next year, you go get that point guard, and then who's going to be your 4-man with that group?
I'm going to get Gary Clark. I love that guy.
Bales, what about a Mitch Creek?
As an option, he's a name who was almost back this year.
Luke Travers.
There's another
name.
name.
He may get an NBL deal, but still.
NBA deal, is that what you're after there, Brad?
NBA.
NBA, NBL?
Well, I'm saying he may get an NBA deal.
Yeah.
33 points the difference. The Sydney Kings in control. Make it 23. Luka Yates. A lot of court time for Luka this season, but the game gone. Justin Tatum goes to his DPs, where we might see a bit of turnover for the Hawks between now and next season. Under Goodrick out there. Nice left-hand finish.
Both teams want to stop, let him in.
So inside the final 2 minutes, straight after we're done here, over to John Riley's Perth Wildcats against Brisbane. RAC Arena.
The Sydney Kings have 7 players in double figures with their 114 points. Their highest scorer is 24, which is Kendrick, but to have 5 other players, that is great basketball team chemistry.
Jonah Antonio being given his 6th game for the season. Scored 3 points, a season high against Brisbane way back in round 4. So the Warwick Senator out there with some court time, and good luck to him. Jonah Antonio game 75 of his NBL career. Now the ladder predictor, check out the Mitsubishi Motors ladder predictor via that QR code or head to nbl.com.au.
Get on that. That is great. That is so much fun.
I'm trying to work out a way I could get the Townsville Crocs back into the top 6, but nothing I did saw them jump out of the ground.
It starts with turning the computer on, Matty.
Here's Kawatnoi. This says to the sandpit, you better stay quiet at 117.91. Hiles, a sweet shot from outside. It's another big total, isn't it, for the Kings, with still a minute plus to play. Bruce miss, Narkle the rebound. Antonio, Kobe McDowell-White. So these are the blokes who've been toiling all season hard at training as the 2nd and 3rd groups. Tatum making sure they get some time in the limelight in front of their home fans. And now Yates called for the foul. They play an important role, don't they, Jace? Brad?
They do, because it's the day-to-day you don't see, and it's the people injuries and people can't train, and if you don't have those guys around, the quality drops or you can't get through your stuff. So they play such an important role. Maybe not necessarily in the games you see with everyone in the stands, but it's the day-to-day where they come in so crucial to success.
I don't think these players don't know about that as well, because they're pushing them every single day. Sean Bruce would be pushing KD every single time. This man would be pushing Jim Suarez, or whether it be Cooks, and bouncing him and hitting him. And they appreciate that because they know they're making him better.
Illawarra close out their season on the road in Melbourne on Sunday, and then at Tasmania next Wednesday. A bit of midweek hoops to close the curtain on their season. Ultimately, a failed championship defence. They'll become only the 4th team to go from champion to missing the postseason the following year. And after Tassie last season, New Zealand in 2014, and Launceston back in '82. So it doesn't happen very often, does it? Champion to, I suppose you say chumps if you miss the finals the following year, but that sadly will be the fate for the Hawks.
It just never really got out of gear, did it? Like we sat there every game, and we're just like, you can see at times that Illawarra were trying to get back to that DNA that was outstanding for them last year. But I just, in the guts of it, we also, and you look at that flag, like, you know, Lockie Aldrich, what a huge loss that was. You know, you look at, just go, you know, Hung Jun Lee comes off and hits threes, but also defensively how tough he was. You mentioned Darius Days. And of course, Trey Kell, the head of it all. It's just, you can look back at a season, it was just too much losing. You can't lose that much.
Antonio over the top of Bruce. Mullerwatch the rebound. And the last shot of the game will come from Jalen Galloway, who scored the first points of the game. It is a big, big win for the Sydney Kings. 26 points to the good as they sweep Illawarra 4-0.
Too good, and that's just, to be honest, it's just a sign of where one team's at and where the other is. We got one team who's probably going to finish on top the way they're playing. They've got a big game Sunday, and we got one who's going to have to go to the drawing board for next year.
I think the best thing that the Sydney Kings will be happy about this is we could have come down here tonight and it could have been one of those games that we just weren't prepared. It was professional, it was workmanlike, and they were led brilliantly by Kendrick Davis, but they did what they had to do to advance to that top spot. It was a great game.
It's another win for the Kings, 9 in a row. It's another triple-figure tally, 120, and it's another big step towards the regular season championship, and they hope the NBL 26 crown.
Well, it's good. Isn't it great? They all just let me know. Congratulations on that 150. Good sportsmanship. Xavier Cook's obviously very friendly with these guys, but that man will be very, very happy.
Kendrick Davis sitting for the fourth quarter after picking up his fourth foul late in the third. He finished with 24 points, 9 assists, 5 boards. That tally coming in 26 minutes, Brad. So he was pretty efficient while he was on court.
Well, the important thing is, Jace, do you think Joe's getting nervous that a bucket of water might end up over her, or you never know what's going to happen here with these interviews?
We're
is
about
it
to
towels,
find out.
Is it water? Is it what's going to go on here, Joe? Let's see it.
Kendrick, Foot Locker player of the game yet again. 7 players in double figures. How complete was this performance?
14 performance. We got out to a good start with JG getting hot early. Tim, then I made shots, Kuwait, X, Torrey. So, yeah, it was a full team effort, and we had great energy.
We know you want that MVP accolade. At some point in that fourth quarter, do you tap Gorge on the shoulder and say, yo, coach, put me in?
Nah, I'm not trying to stat pad to get it. Like, I love my teammates. My numbers with the minutes I play is spectacular, so I'm by team. So I want to see how my teammates have fun. I love them, and I'm proud of my teammates, for sure.
Well done on the win. We'll see you back in Sydney on Sunday.
Thank you, thank you.
Not bad, is it, when Kendrick Davis, the man they call KD, can be Foot Locker player of the game, playing barely half the game with those numbers I mentioned, 24 points, 9 dimes, and the 5 rebounds.
Controlled the pace from the start. I know he just mentioned that Jalen got off to a good start for him, but it all just stemmed from how he wanted and where they wanted to be, and he made plays, he made the right decisions, and just basically whenever he felt like, oh, I might score now, that's exactly what he did.
The conductor, he was absolutely amazing all night, just led the team brilliantly, got into the right steps, what he needed, took the right shots that he needed to take, but more importantly, got the ball to the right hands.
Did he get out of second or third gear tonight, Brad?
Nah, didn't look like it. As I said, that was probably our 90th gear, but that man right there, he was tremendous.
So the Hawks farewell their home crowd this season with a heavy defeat, but it's all about the Kings, top of the table and looking good in Hungry Jack's NBL 26.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
The Kings silence the Hawks crowd by beating them for the 4th time this season, for the 3rd time by 20 points plus. And that man, Kendrick Davis, along with Xavier Cook's stars again. The Sydney Kings, there are the numbers. How good are they? This season, they sit on top of the table for the first time this season now on a 9-game winning streak, Jason Kadee.
Playing really good basketball. You can see as a group it's been clicking for a while, and Gorge has his team prime and ready for the finals. And now for them, it's can we stay on top of the ladder to finish out the season and get home court advantage?
Yeah, they go 10, 12 deep, no question. Everyone steps on the court and does a great job. And like you said, Sydney Kings after 31 games, 22-9, equal with Adelaide right there. But look at that, points for and against. It's a simple equation for the Kings. Win the next 2, you get top spot.
Dan Greeter's 150th NBL game finishing in defeat, but he's taking his time to work his way through this crowd. Their championship defence is over. Tonight they were a mathematical chance of making the top 6, but not anymore at 11 and 20. Don't go anywhere. We're not done. We've hit half-time this Friday doubleheader. Next up, we're off to Perth with high ambitions this season as well. Can they do as expected and take down the Bullets?